Did you guys have a Vasto Prime when they announced the Incarnon Vasto? Because I looked for my weapons and I had an AC Vasto Prime, but no Vasto Prime. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're gonna be diving deeper into the Incarnon Vasto. I got an endgame setup because these Incarnon adapters are hardly new player friendly. That said, we are still gonna be going through everything that you need to know. What evolutions to pick, what's bugged, what's not, how a build looks like, and what kind of performance you can expect out of this weapon. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the Incarnon Vasto. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. The Vasto Prime is the cult of Warframe. If the Lex is the Deagle, then this is definitely a cult. My friends, this is a 6-shooter cowboy style and all whatnot. It actually really kind of looks in that kind of style. It reloads in that kind of style, and this is a hit scan attack. Of course, as soon as you install your Incarnon Genesis adapter, you're gonna get the fancy new crosshairs with the loading bar right underneath. Headshots will be loading that bar, and with any load level you can go Incarnon form. Now in Incarnon form, the weapon changes appearance and functionality as well. It looks a whole lot, well, basically it looks the same with a little bit of growth over there, but you get 24 bullets or 24 charge, and when you run around like this. You know what this means, yes? You're gonna be fanning the hammer, and when you fan the hammer, you get a whole lot of recoil, as you might expect. But of course, we're going to be able to mitigate that from modding and through evolutions as well. The problem with this one, 24 bullets and you're firing 6 at a time. So that means what? That means you fire 4 times and you go back to normal. Please don't tune out now. Hold on, the weapon gets better. It honestly does get better than this. So again, charge for headshots, go Incarnon form, fan the hammer, and of course in this mode you're going to be getting yourself much superior stats. First evolution brings the transformation, and your second evolution is the most powerful one. You got an option of 2. First of all, you got this one, Lone Gun. Increases damage by 24, that is a flat amount with no primary equipped. Increases damage by another whopping 40, plus increases magazine capacity by 14. Does that mean it applies to the Incarnon form as well? Negative. In the Incarnon form, you're still getting the same charge at 24 or 4 times 6 shots. Now the other evolution, the one we're going to be going for at least for the time being, is called Death Trap Trigger. 24 damage again, and unequipped from primary increases critical chance by 30% base amount, yes, and also 0.8x critical multiplier base amount for 3 seconds. And you're gonna say, alright dude, I'm not the kind of player that switches from weapon to weapon, you know, I don't like this. Just for 3 seconds, it doesn't seem all that impactful. And depending on your kind of gameplay style, you're either going to be going for the more consistent damage with Lone Gun, or the larger benefit, which is a bit more iffy. But at the current time, my friends, this one is bugged. Is bugged in the good way, in the sense that it's always on. Yeah. So we're definitely going to be going for this one for the time being. And if you don't like switching between weapons, you don't like the 3 seconds, which honestly isn't a whole lot, switch to Lone Gun when the thing is fixed. Evolution 3 is the usability tree, and your first option is called Extended Volley. This one will increase your magazine capacity by 6. Bear in mind, it only affects the normal form. It does nothing for the Incarnon form. Awakened Readiness, 20% magazine reload per second when holstered. So obviously this one will synergize beautifully well with this one, Death Trap Trigger. If you're that kind of player that swaps from weapon to weapon constantly, you're gonna be loving yourself these talents. If not, my friends, best in slot, Marksman Hand, minus 50% weapon recoil. This plus steady hands in your Excellent slot on the weapon, and the weapon goes dead still in both normal form and Incarnon form as well. And the final talents, 18% critical chance with Commodore's Fortune. Fantastic, beautiful, we love it, but honestly, you're good enough as it is. This one is a bit more impactful, especially considering the status chance and the IPS layout of the weapon. 10% status chance and 10% critical chance. And the final option is going to be Reaper's Plenty on headshot, 100% ammo efficiency for 2 seconds. Awesome, amazing! Does not work in Incarnon form. And neither does Arcane Pistolier, so therefore your best in slot is gonna be Survivor's Edge. If you're a more newer player coming into Warframe and you stumbled upon the Vasto Prime, listen to what I'm about to tell you. This is not a new player friendly weapon. It's really not, and it's really not all that powerful. It's a whole lot better with the Incarnon Genesis adapter, but until that point, link in the cards right now, a full recommendation for a really good secondary weapon, which is a lot more powerful and a lot more new player friendly. As for an Incarnon endgame setup, my friends, we're looking at something like this. Hornet Strike? Yes, you can keep this one or you can replace it depending on your option. I'm gonna give you the options. Multi-shot with Galvanized Diffusion, and we're gonna be using Galvanized Shot as well. On the weapon, we got the 260-60 vital mods, Pistol Pestilence, and of course, Frostbite. Critical chance and critical damage with the 2 prime mods. Here's your option that you can go for. You can go for Creeping Bullseye, decreases the fire rate by 20%. Essentially, it's a bit of a trade-off. 20% fire rate for 13% crit, it's really down to you. This one is a bit cheaper and easier to obtain, so if you want to, we can go like this. Again, it's not gonna make the biggest of difference. I honestly prefer the fire rate. We also got a Bane mod, Expel mod, Faction mod on this one, and these can be fantastic, especially on the right build, right setup, depending on where you're going. If you're gonna be going for Steel Path Circuit, then I would advise you forget about this one, since only the fodder enemies are corrupted and the tougher enemies are Dax? Nah, Dax are easy to kill. The Frax, yeah, that's it. The guys with the sight, with the overguard, with the everything, with the annoyance, with the one-shotting my defense point. Those are the Frax. Now this should be your approach, but considering the IPS layout, the status chance and everything, you do have a couple of options. You can replace Hornet Strike with something like Lethal Torrent, Multi-Shot, fantastic, and a bit of fire rate. Or what you can do, was it Saxon Spittle? No, it wasn't. Saxon Spittle is the impact one. What's the other one? Carnage Stinger! There you go, you can go for something like Carnage Stinger. This one will give you 90% slash and 60% status chance. Fantastic idea, but here's the thing. Slash is already proc priority number 1. You're already going to be putting tons upon tons of slashes into your targets through the weapon's unique status chance. You can go like so, or you can go like so. It's really down to you. We're going to be spawning in level 165. Corrupted heavy goons as per the usual. We're going to go shot by shot. I want you to see what the weapon can do on its own 2 feet. It can kill. There was a show about weapons and forging and fire. And there was this guy that could say it could kill. I forgot what it was. But at any point, the weapon can kill by itself 1 shot. Okay, that was a single bullet into that target. 2 into this one, because I keep my eye always on the procs. Look at that. A single shot, level 165 corrupted heavy goon destroyed, 44,000. If you're gonna be going in Incarnon form, there's just simply more carnage. It's as simple as that. The weapon is really easy to charge, but unfortunately, your load doesn't... Your load, yes. The charge doesn't really last you a whole lot, so there is that to bear in mind. What I take away from this is that the weapon is powerful in both normal and Incarnate fire modes, and I can switch between them in a mission without any issue whatsoever. Of course, a little bit of punch will help a whole lot on a weapon such as this, especially if you got a clump up ability, like a Volban, Nidus, Kora, whatever you prefer. I think even Gyre has a clump up ability. Now, if you have a Riven, 5 out of 5. 5 out of bloody 5, and because there are so many mods which I would put on this build and there's not enough room, I would advise that on your Riven, besides obvious multi-shot critical damage, why don't you go for an element as well, ideally Toxin, because that one is the most flexible. Now granted, if you know you're gonna be fighting a specific scenario, you can get yourself a primer, I don't know, a primary primer or a melee primer if you want to, and forget about the elemental mods on the build. But what's hot right now and what's most rewarding is Steel Path Circuit, and then because of the random element, you should really have your vital built on your weapon. Now, one last thing, you don't need a gazillion vital procs on your target, so you can swap out the 60s for the 90s if you want to, but considering the one-shot potential that you saw there, I would keep the 60s, just to make sure that I get myself some procs. Now, Riven setup will look something like this. I got a Toxicist, it's got Toxin on it, critical damage is going to be combining with Frostbite, forming Vital. If you do not like faction mods, I don't blame you, my friends, and you know the options. You can go with Hornet Strike, which is already on the weapon. If not, you can go with Lethal Torrent, and if not, you can go with Carnage Stinger, like I showed you guys earlier. And I would go for that one if I could, but I can't, so I shan't. So let's go like this instead. Same targets as before, going for headshots. 1 shot on the target, 44,000 bleed, beautiful. Another 1 shot on the target, 30,000 bleed. We got a 1 shot on that one, yes, it is 30,000 bleed. These guys are dying from 1 shots. Beautiful, fantastic, glorious. As you can see, the weapon stands on its own 2 feet. No vital proc on that one, still 50,000 bleed. Still 50,000 bleed. Secure that bleed proc with, I was about to say Saxon Spittle again, Carnage Stinger. But yes, this is an Incarnon weapon. Show us the Incarnon thing. Here. You see a big difference in performance? Of course you can't. Still one-shotting everything, how can you? Now I know what you're gonna be saying. Dude, standing still targets, going for headshots, yada yada. Sure. Steel Path. Welcome to the Void, my friends. Now let's see what the weapon can do against level 130-ish corrupted in Steel Path. One shots galore, and please bear in mind, I am currently in the normal form. That was a corrupted heavy goon. That's the slash proc 167,000 bleed or something of the sort. That was like 70-80,000. As you can see, the weapon is more than capable of absolutely annihilating whatever it shoots. It's one problem, okay, one of its problems, it's single target. And if you want the kind of weapon that can clear an entire room with a single shot, well, this is simply not one of those weapons. It doesn't mean it's not a good weapon, it's a great weapon, and it's terribly satisfying to play with, but it's not area of effect. As for its incarnate form, I killed that guy like 17.6 times, honestly. Let's go for the capture target. The capture target has a whole lot more damage mitigation. It's harder to kill, or at least it's supposed to be harder to kill. Oh, look, an Eximus. Was an Eximus. Of course, he got one-shotted, capture, no problem whatsoever. What I can show you, however, is how it deals with an Acolyte. You guys curious about that? You still kill Acolytes and stuff? Let's check it out. Why are you guys fighting each other? I didn't rad proc you. Which one will it be, boys? Which one will it be this time? It is Angst, and if I remember right, Angst doesn't bubble us. Yes, so I essentially kept my entire magazine for Angst. I'm gonna change it now, and here she comes, and there she goes. There she goes. Yep. Again, you only fire 4 times, but it's goddamn impressive when you do. So basically you can play like this, right? Maybe you roll around with your primary and keep your secondary all charged up, ready to go, change to it when an Acolyte comes and absolutely annihilate his world. It is a gameplay possibility. As for conclusions on this one, without a doubt it's a powerful weapon, but it does have issues in the fact that, hey, the incarnate form only fires 4 times and then you gotta go back to normal and get headshots again. That will put a whole lot of Tenno off. For me, this is a fantastic weapon, but I would understand why you would want to play with something like this from mission to mission. I still think it's best to be used as a big bada boom cooldown. You roll around with your primary, you see an Acolyte coming or something of the sort, you get out your secondary and you unload upon him. Now, it should also be mentioned that the weapon stands on its own 2 feet quite fine in the normal form as well, but not fine enough. Again, a magazine of 6, because it's a 6 shooter, then you gotta reload, even though that reload is quite quick and rather easy to do, pretty seamless. This weapon needs a specific type of player. Now you let me know in the comment section down below, are you that type of player, or would you rather have something like the Atomos? You didn't see the Incarnon Atomos? Look at the cards right now. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any feedback for me, let me know in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below if you want to suggest any particular type of content, like, hey, I would like to see this weapon build or that weapon build, and so on and so forth. You can also catch me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content and you want to help me keep making it, consider supporting us via Patreon. There's going to be a link in the upper right portion of the screen right about now. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.